Welcome back to the Mission Control podcast. We're trying to get back into doing that.
Yeah. I think I've forgotten the name of our own podcast sometimes. We just go straight into it. But where can you find us? Let's do some quick plugs before we get started.
Well, mainly all the media platforms. Spotify #1, I guess. You can get every episode on Spotify now.
Now you can actually get all the episodes, yeah. we had a little bit of a thing where we
fixed that bug.
We only was showing, 50 of the most recent episodes, or 100?
Yeah.
It was capped at 100 or something like that, yeah.
So now there is every 163 total episodes, including all the sessions.
Wow.
And some of your, that stuff you did down south.
In Margaret River, yeah.
Yep, Margaret River, the emergence stuff, as well as a few other recaps, some good episodes there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere that you can get podcasts with an RSS feed. That's correct.
Instagram as well. We're pretty active on that one. That is, what is that one? Holy shit, Mission Control Podcast, right?
You just search the Mission Control Podcast.
I'm going to get the exact one.
We put all stuff up. We drop some our highlights of episodes.
Yep.
We drop behind the scenes stuff. We got some nice little story highlights in there.
Some pretty dope memes.
Oh, that's #1. You got to have them memes.
Yeah, it's Mission Control Podcast, at Mission Control Podcast. I thought it was at the other one, the Twitter one, which we're not really active on.
Yeah. Twitter's a...
There's a lot of things to cover.
It's a tough one. And obviously YouTube for all the video episodes.
Mm-hmm. Soon to be, we're looking at Patreon, things like that. Anchor, we're going to do a big migration over. We're in the works at the moment with kind of moving stuff over to make it more, I think, easier to manage.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I'm just trying to sit up. I think, we got it into that slouchy period, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It was probably necessary.
It's just relaxing. It's a nice couch here.
I know.
And have a sleep on it.
Nice couches. Gee, I wonder how many butts have rested on that couch. Yeah.
Let's not talk about this couch.
It's not your couch?
No, it came with the place.
Okay, right. Yeah. Whole lot of fucking.
So it's got a lot of, I suppose, a lot of history. That's why I cover it. That's why I cover this couch.
Cool, yeah. I think that's just about all the in-house things.
Yeah, and quickly, I want to point this out because I never sound sincere enough when I say this, but we want to thank the people that do listen to the podcast and those that do enjoy it. We do this primarily for ourselves, but we also do it for you guys, and so shout out to anyone that's listening. Please keep listening.
Definitely, yeah. I think we take for granted what we do sometimes, and which will segue nicely into my thoughts for the week. Yeah. But of the medium, it really feels like this is the most interesting time to be putting out content. I think it's also interesting. It's also dangerous. I think it's probably one of the pinnacle moments where it's a little bit like things that you say. This is a catalog of our thoughts, and it sometimes does occur to me. Sometimes after we do a podcast, and it always does, really, that we are seriously cataloging our thoughts out there into the universe, onto these formats. And sometimes it dawns on me how liberating in one sense, from an artistic point of view and all that. Like, I love doing this, but also very daunting when you think about how people are held accountable to what they say and do nowadays. And the immediacy of the actual format as well. Like our turnaround time is quite. I would say it's quite quick. Maybe not as quick as we'd like, but it's pretty quick still compared.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're not making money. We don't have to be doing this. I think it's still pretty quick given those circumstances. Mm-hmm. But it is very immediate. So, like, things that you say, you might not think the next month, or you might change, but it's out there forever as an imprint. And really, it depends on when people hop in that they get that impression that you're like that. So,
yes, yeah. Well, there's definitely that whole thing that if you listen to an episode that's a while old, don't take that for what it is when you're listening to it.
Right.
Always keep that reference of when it is that it was recorded. But now, as you're saying that, we've used Facebook for many years, and if that is not the pinnacle of this, what you're saying, putting your thoughts out there, you can be held accountable for. That is the, I don't know, like the top level of all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And we see now how, well, we've known for a while how you can say what you want on Facebook, but you'll get slammed for it by a lot of the wider community, and now Facebook themselves. And I think that's the, what we can use the word, privilege of this podcast is we have the ability to say what we want. Maybe not when it comes to actually putting the stuff on social media, because if they don't like what we say, they won't show it. But that's why we're trying to look at building, trying to get away from that we have our own ability to get away with saying what we want.
Well, it cuts out the middleman in a way. And that's the one thing that's really liberating about this medium, is it goes straight to the person. I mean, fair enough, yeah, it's on a platform like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, things like that, but for the most part, you can still get a raw podcast MP3 file directly to whoever you want. You can host it. There's a lot of different ways, but I think with in the social media bubble, anything that you say, your page can get taken down at any moment. A lot of pages that I look at, I mean, it's regardless of of your beliefs. I think pages getting taken down is an issue for all of us. It's not a thing that should be, oh, well, they think this way, so they should be banned. It's like, no, but what's happening to them is going to come full circle to censor you as well.
Okay, you're taking that dive. All right. It's undeniable that this whole information censorship is happening. All right, that is absolutely happening, undeniably. Now, a lot of people will argue, oh, well, it's because some of the stuff people are saying is providing incentive to think other than the narrative. I'm trying to be articulate here.
Yeah.
No, it's people will say, oh, let's say the QAnon, all these QAnon accounts. How many thousand QAnon accounts got taken off Twitter? How many posts get taken off Facebook all the time? Because it doesn't suit the narrative of that community or the guidelines of that company. But it's like, you can say that it's not helping. Having that information out there isn't helping because it's providing people with what could be a false narrative. All this information about Q, it could be completely fake. So getting rid of it could be a good thing. But at the same time, isn't there that freedom that if it is information that people are putting out there, whether it's fake or not, who's deciding that it's fake? Who's deciding that these posts and these things aren't suitable for everyone else to hear? And why don't people have the ability to make their own decision?
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, but to enforce that as well. I find that very strange. I mean, I guess the argument could be, look, if you're inciting people to break rules, if you're inciting people to think a certain way that's going to cause harm, then I get that. But I think to your point, who is determining what is safe and what isn't safe? Yeah. And what if hypothetically the people that are making these determinations, what if they don't have our best interest? Then what? Then who is controlling the fact checkers? Who is overlooking them and actually holding them accountable? How do we ensure that the people fact checking aren't having their own bias?
Yeah. Well, I found it, and I think I put it on Instagram, that the Facebook fact checkers, the organizations that do the fact checking for Facebook are funded through organizations that are affiliated with George Soros, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, all of the same players in everything that seems to be. Now that's what I find so coincidental, that this pandemic happens and people are pointing at Soros and Bill Gates and stuff. Then you have this censorship of information, and it is the same characters involved.
Yeah.
You know, when you start seeing all of these things that are seemingly unrelated, but all of the same characters are being pointed out, like how does that happen?
Maybe there's a certain group of people with certain interests that are working together.
And it's definitely worth something to look into rather than just dismiss it and remove it so people can't actually discuss it anymore. That's what I find so strange, is that people won't even take the time to consider it and even try to dismiss it. It just gets removed.
That's right, yeah. And we've even seen posts that have been mistakenly removed, as in they didn't actually have, like you'll see something like this warning, like inappropriate content or adult content or whatever, and you click on it and it's something completely unrelated. Yeah. There's nothing, what do you call it, violent or shocking about the video at all.
One thing, because I really don't want to dwell on all this, because it's, you know, like I personally, I'm trying to take a step back from it, and I take days where I just don't look at anything, and then all of a sudden I see something and I fire off, and I've got friends that know, they can see when I've had a break, and then they can see when I fire back in. But one thing that was very important back with the whole Facebook, when that started off with the Congress hearings and thing, we're talking about the political. It was like the evidence, like they wanted to remove any sort of political bias or anything that can sort of influence the political environment of the United States.
Particularly around election time.
Or especially in the election time. But now the thing is, we have what we call the influencers, the blue tick influencers that have thousands to millions of followers. Their voice can influence elections. We have pretty much any group discussion in any part of the world can influence the US election. And that is why it is important. I feel is important, especially in what they call a democratic society, is that everyone should be allowed to discuss every single aspect in order to make a informed decision. But when you are giving people one side of a story, the information that you want them to see, how is that an informed decision? And how, like that's influencing the political crap.
Yeah.
It's just
that's intervention to an extent as well. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you see a lot has happened with these big tech companies that kind of went under the radar. There's a little bit of reporting on it, but not as much hoo-ha about it as I would have hoped. In that we are witnessing before our eyes a war for ownership of information.
Yeah.
And people's profiles and their habits, and there is a war on, and there's a very real threat of monopolization by these companies. Even though I do think a lot of them are really doing good things as well for humanity in terms of enabling connection, making people's lives better that would have been they weren't able to do certain things before. There's a good side of that, but when it's being used as a form of surveillance and oppression against the people, I really have an issue with that. And I think that is what we're verging on. If not, we're already in it. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll get off of the last, I had a bit of a discussion with a friend, maybe more of an argument, about how people would always drop these hints, or they'll drop this information regarding things. and I'm just going to drop it into the Pizzagate, this pedophile shit, the Wayfair stuff. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that's real. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a critical thinker. Let's get rid of that fucking term. It's over. It doesn't mean the same thing anymore. But when there is possibility, when there is any sort of suspicion that there's something like that going on, it shouldn't be dismissed as, it's a conspiracy theory. If you're talking about the lives of children, if you're talking about this dark, evil fucking shit. I mean, I like to think I'm a dark, evil person.
In a rock and roll sense.
In a rock and roll sense, but not that.
Not that, yeah.
That is incredibly fucking, that is evil. Like, I can't even put that into words.
It's like psychopathic evil.
Beyond, like, what I don't think you and I could even comprehend what the possibility of an environment it does exist. We know it happens. Mm-hmm. We know that the world is a fucked up place,
and people have come forward as well. So these aren't stories that are just made up.
It's not conspiracy theory, but the whole idea that people choose to sort of turn a blind eye. Even if it's not true, people should be trying to prove it's not true. For that sort of peace of mind to say, oh, okay, no, it's actually not true. We are safe. The world isn't as bad as we think it is. But I think people are too scared to learn the truth. It's like if you uncover it and find out, oh, wait, no, they are actually trafficking little kids and shipping them off to some island and all these rich bastards are fucking them. That's something people don't want to admit because that would destroy everything they know. It's incredible.
Especially when it involves people that...
Prove me wrong.
Especially when it involves people that people look up to, I think. They don't even want to entertain the fact because it would shatter their illusion about a lot of so-called respectable people. It would require unlearning things as well, yeah. But I also... Another part of me is like... there is also a very real threat of magnifying evil by consistently fearing it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yes, acknowledging it.
Yeah. So like, it's almost like you obviously I think the law of attraction is a very real thing. So if you're constantly thinking everything's evil, you're kind of making everything evil, and you'll find things that are evil. But I from what I've seen anyway, and I'm just like you, trying to be as critical and as central as possible. I see there's some dark shit happening that has been going on for a long time, possibly in the hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I think this goes back to like Aztec times.
Well, that's the thing. If people want to talk about systemic problems, I'm not talking about any specific systemic problems. Let's talk about a general systemic problem. Now, in my mind, when you talk about the word systemic kind of means through systematic, like it's through a process kind of thing, through a
it's deeply ingrained.
Yeah. Well, we'd go when people talk about that, go, oh well, where did it begin? And like you're saying, I feel this is an old thing that's happened such a long time ago. And when people try to fix it by dealing with putting a band-aid over what's happening now, we talk about the systemic problems, but no one is willing to actually go back and try and work out where it began. Because if you were to dig down that deep...
Yeah, I think this is something that's been around for a while. Back, hundreds...
Babylonian times.
Probably, there's all this... things to do with child sacrifice and belief in certain deities. I think that has simply gotten more sophisticated.
Ooh, I want to be... I don't know if we can talk about that. That's
what?
Just a strange... just a thought. It's going to be bad talking about pedophiles and pedophilia.
Is it? Is it too spicy?
No, but we'll think back, like, I don't know how many years ago, 100 years ago, where young kids... Well, say like a 12, 13-year-old girl was considered like
ready to have babies.
ready to have babies and stuff.
Yeah, and married young, things like that. Yeah, and especially in royalty. Yeah,
Like obviously, like so back then, I don't think they would have had any sort of ages of consent or ages of like drinking ages and shit like that. It was just like, you know, shit just was. And so obviously at some point in time, they made a decision, oh no, you have to be 18, you have to be 21 for the US to drink and stuff like that. But you're not going to tell me that there are still people that have that shit ingrained in their mind that having sex with a 12-year-old girl is still okay.
Not just, but here's the other real thing. There's also a lot of boys involved. And the boys actually never get talked about. And that's one thing that I disliked very much.
Well, they did when they like the churches and all that shit. Like that was huge.
That was huge.
That was fucking huge.
The Cardinal Pell stuff is very huge as well. But, you know, when especially during the Epstein documentary, very little about the boys. It was all about the girls, and they always hid the real nasty shit. They really covered up. But I think the thing is a lot of boys are involved, but also I feel like that doesn't, for some odd reason, like it doesn't really get talked about.
Well, I mean, okay, it's a well-known fact that guys are less likely to admit to things like that, like any sort of sexual abuse or any kind of stuff, because we're men. Well, probably not us. Like, we're not masculine.
I'm certainly not masculine.
We're not masculine alpha males, that's for sure. Not after the night that I had the other night. Like, I am not an alpha male.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of ingrained in that masculinity that we hold it down, we just toughen up.
Yeah, we're not allowed to show weakness. Yeah. But, you know, the ancient Greeks, you know, fiddled around with boys a lot. There's a reason why Tom Hanks has a Greek citizenship.
No, don't talk. Don't.
I know, but you know, I mean, it is an aspect that doesn't go talked about. This is the actual boys suffering the abuse as well. Yeah. But on to a more lighter notes. I have been burying my head in podcasts a lot more. I think it does reignite a bit of passion when you view a good podcast. I did see the Miley Cyrus episode. I can't talk right now. On with Joe Rogan and
on Spotify.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. Yeah, we're going to talk about the OS side of things because I'd like to talk about that as well. Yeah. But what was really occurred to me was like, you know, going on this whole conspiracy type climate where there's a lot of celebrity and pop star Illuminati type conspiracies out there as well. But hearing Miley was like, maybe the conspiracy is she's a really normal person. You know what I mean? Like she's yes.
Yeah,
because like
the people that aren't normal are the fucking media and the press and the paparazzi. They're not fucking normal. And the industry is not fucking normal.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but what I mean is like I'm sure she's definitely talented and driven and all that, and has a strong character. Obviously, to withstand what she went through was insane. But you know, we make stories up about people we don't know. It's natural, you know, and they do a couple of hand signs and people are like, yeah, you know, but who knows? There's also a very real culture of that as well. So it's hard to say, but it was very weirdly humanizing hearing Miley in that light, just like being normal. I don't know. I've never really looked into her anyway. So, but. No, I mean like and the 5-hour one with Duncan Trussell. That was a really good one.
I actually haven't sat down and really. Well, no, I have really gotten back into podcasts, but just I haven't laughed at a podcast as much as I did.
It's good
with
fun,
Duncan
isn't it?
Oh, it was great. Yeah. But I like how you said watching a podcast because now that Spotify are doing video, like you can pull it up and watch the video and still flick the app closed, go to stuff, and the audio still plays, but then you can go back and watch the video. It's fucking amazing. And just watching that video was just, yeah. Highly recommend.
I'd like to, because you know how we put the video side up on YouTube. I'd like to just have one spot where you choose, you want to listen to it, you want to watch a bit, and you can flick in and out.
Oh, that's what Spotify. That's what
exactly.
Spotify is.
Yeah. And that's why I think centralizing that's really good. So you just have one spot that people go to. Yeah. But you try to screen record, right?
Yeah. So I tried to send you a screenshot of it, and what it did is actually blacked out the video. The actual the thing. So, and I thought, oh, maybe it's a bug. So I turned it landscape, so the whole screen was the video screenshot black. It still shows like the play, pause, counter, and all this stuff, but the screen is black. I think I did the same thing with screen record, and it would not even engage the screen record function on the iPhone.
Yeah.
So Spotify was actually able to override the OS on the phone.
I guess that makes sense. Like, my theory was because it was considered premium content.
Well,
yeah.
It's copyright, yeah. I mean, the whole overriding the OS isn't new. Like, you can't screenshot, say, the Bank West app. It's physically impossible.
Right.
To screenshot.
Netflix, you can't just record all of Netflix. Yeah.
So definitely these certain apps have these OS override coding and stuff in it.
Yep.
Oh, so it's not really
a thing. I was just surprised. Yeah. I mean, it does make sense because you're paying for the content, so it's considered premium.
But the other thing that got me thinking was, and I'd say this to you, like, what happens when, like, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, if they all had that same function, like I screenshot a lot of things that I see. Like a lot of videos, I'll take a screen out, and my phone has got a kind of a record of a lot of what I consider information for me, like, or just like reference material. And what happens to the point if that happens on these social media platforms that you can no longer keep
or just the browser
record or reference,
even just the browser. Imagine if the browser just stopped you from being. I don't think that'll happen. I don't know, because it's just browser, but yeah, it's harder to keep. I hope it doesn't become harder to keep a record of things. Maybe that's the intention, to have stuff that's really easy to cover up.
Yeah, but that's the way you keep life moving forward, is you don't dwell on the past. So if you saw a post that said John Podesta molested a kid, well, it doesn't exist anymore, so it doesn't matter. And that fucking video that I saw on Twitter, holy fuck.
There's some crazy stuff out there, yeah, but I hope. Yeah,
sorry, we were talking about podcasting.
Podcasting, yeah. It does. It's still. I don't want to take any of this for granted. I think I have a newfound drive. I feel like when we came back and did that run at the Hen House, 2017 was it? 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we went through that run, I think both you and I, even seasonally. Gosh, I sound like a hippie, but the sun was shining, like it was hot.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, when you asked that question, like, why were we more productive at the Hen House? Do you remember my reply? What was my reply? Because it was summer and we weren't being oppressed by the government.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Sadly true.
Kind of true, I think. Yeah, because I had come over from Victoria.
Shh.
Dreary.
Don't say that word. Don't say that place.
Shout out to all the Vic people, but honestly, we came. I came from there. It was cold all the time. It was sunny, hot. Like, I got to see all you guys again, so I think I was like, had this newfound energy.
There was energy.
There was this electricity in 2016, 2017, and it's weird because there were so many memes coming out in 2016 about how shit the year was. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Everyone was complaining about the years because that's when Trump got elected.
That's right.
That's when everyone got fucking sad.
Everyone got butthurt
systemic
about that.
sadness. because the Orange Man got elected because they chose the Orange Man.
Yeah, but it was strange. Yeah, but and look how far we've come, Jesus. But
they're still trying to get rid of the Orange Man. How far we come? Fuck off. But how far we've come, like, I know what you're saying, that the energy that we had there.
That's right, yeah. But I feel, my point was, I feel that energy coming back. I think maybe, strangely, even though this year may be considered a terrible year by everyone's standards, it's, I think, maybe...
It's an energetic fucking year.
It's, things are about to pop off and things are beginning to get interesting. I think it's a whole new... the whole game's changing financially, economically, technology, all this stuff. The whole landscape is moving under our feet, and we're literally trying to, like, stay stable. And I think one of the good things about having this, it's an anchor. It's an anchor when all this shit's happening.
Well-
When the storm is all around you, you still got that anchor. And I think this is one of the only things that keep me together.
It was like when you got here, we both sort of started talking. We're both talking about this kind of energy that we're feeling right now outside in Perth, Western Australia. For those listeners that aren't in Perth, Western Australia, there's just there's this energy, this weird vibe in the city, and you kind of felt like. Is it a bad vibe? Is it a bad energy, or is it just there's some kind of energy happening?
There's a tension, a little bit of a tension. That's how I felt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I pointed out that it's something that I haven't really paid attention to, but apparently the city is getting more violent. There was an old man that was bashed in Northbridge the other week, and apparently Northbridge is getting way more violent, which I can see Northbridge from here, and I don't notice. I mean, I notice a lot of police cars, a lot of ambulances, but I've never really heard or witnessed anything over the top like that. So to say that there's all this the bloody streets of Northbridge are back, I don't know. Okay,
I think the news is violent.
Yeah, the news is fucking violent.
Yeah,
but the energy.
Yeah,
It's weird. Like, this is something that I never really got into. Like, to me, especially growing up and younger, this whole energy, spiritual, religious type thing, it's all fucking bullshit to me. You know, I grew up on hard scientific facts. Like, that was me. Which lately I've started to question, especially because, well, I was saying to a friend at a party the other week that, my greatest saying is history is written by the winners. Scientific fact are written by those that get the answer out there first. But energy, these feeling like this hooby-dooby spiritual fucking whatever shit you want to call it, you start to feel it. People, you can feel it. Like, I think there's a point where you can feel that there's something bigger going on.
Especially now. Especially now. I feel like we're on the cusp of a big, some people call it even the fourth industrial revolution is happening right before our eyes. Where, remember, there's a sudden spike in evolution. It's kicked up a notch. Yeah. But things have to kind of get really shit.
And
first.
now, this is... I'm gonna tell the story.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell the story of what happened... What night was it? Last Friday night, I think it was. No, it wasn't Friday night. It was Sunday night. Yes, Sunday night. I was sitting by my computer, and I was just, kicking back. And all of a sudden, my amplifier turned on. Now, not my line, not the effects processor, the actual amplifier with the I don't have not a tube amplifier. It's a solid state, but it's got all the transistors and shit in there. The whole thing just turned on, and I heard the speaker pop. And I just turned around. I'm like, what? And the lights are on. Everything was just on. And I was just like, and it's like a heavy duty button to press. You can't just like bump it. It's a big ass press button. And I sat there like I just knew this thing just turned on by itself. I shit you not. And I was kind of stunned. And I looked at it, but I didn't feel anything bad from it. I didn't feel no bad energy. I didn't feel anything sort of negative about it. The funny thing was, I felt more positive about it. And this is where it got me thinking. First of all, I tried to take the scientific approach. Like you asked, was there a wire crossed? Was it not plugged in properly? That can't happen because I did use it 2 days before. Plugged it all in. I was playing guitar and I turned it all off. Flick off the thing and flick off the button and all off. There's no way that it could just turn on and that button could. And I looked at it. I turned it. I even pulled it. I took a video. I filmed it while it was on and then I turned it off with the button and then turned it back on with this heavy duty button. So this thing turned itself on. No shit. No fucking lie. So, and I'm like, okay. So I grabbed my guitar, plugged it in, and started playing. And I felt like I was channeling. I felt like there was something running through me while I was playing guitar. It was fucking amazing. It felt so fucking good. And then I proceeded to... Now, this is where I'm going to go back, because the days leading up to this, I had it in my mind that, I was actually pinching a bit of electrical wire and stuff from work because I needed to fix up my guitar. I need to fix the wiring. I wanted to play. I wanted to clean it up. I had in my mind for a couple of days leading up is I wanted to do all this guitar stuff. And then I'm sitting there doing nothing on a Sunday afternoon and the amp turns on. And so I used it and I played guitar and I went and fixed my guitar. Did all the stuff I wanted to do with my guitar. And I can't explain what it was.
Yeah.
Either there's something else turned it on, something that's in here turned it on, or I've developed some sort of telekinetic powers that turned it on because that was what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
And that's no longer a crazy thought to me. Having such sort of strong, energetic vibes that you kind of, that you can turn something on like that. And I've now started to sort of believe in certain things like that, and that was an eye opener.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I shit you not. You fucking not.
Well, I had to play with the buttons, so you actually have to really push on it to make it turn on. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like it could have been flicked on or anything like that. That's interesting, but that's cool. That's cool. I mean, there's that intuition woo-woo type stuff where, sometimes you can feel the negative energy. Sometimes you can feel that it's safe. But I totally get that these are probably reflections and manifestations of our own consciousness. What we fear, we project that onto our reality as a canvas and we shape it. So who knows? You probably affected something somehow.
That's what I mean.
Just through your thoughts.
That's exactly what I've
maybe
either that or it's Jeff. Jeff wanted to hear me play again, but I shit you not. There is no other logical way that I can think of that amplifier turned on.
Well, hey, good news is you had a good jam session.
I fucking felt it. I jammed. I played well. I felt kind of like that energy that we feel when you're in a jam room, when you're playing with a band, and remember that sync. The sync. Or any musician knows that sync where you look at everyone and you feel that joint flow. That's kind of what I felt when I was playing that guitar. Like I wasn't alone, which is a strange word to say.
Yeah.
G'day, Jeff. Come have a seat.
Well, I've always believed that people that are musical or artistic, they are kind of grabbing at things, or they are a conduit acting. Things are flowing through them, like you're almost channeling. And I think when you're most open to that channel, that's when you're the most creative and in tune and in sync. Some days it's just not there, like you have no desire to do anything creative. But some days the floodgates open and you can't stop it. Yeah. You literally cannot stop the floodgates. But that's an interesting story. Nothing like that has really happened to me. I do get a lot of synchronicity though. Like things don't move, like nothing paranormal happens to me, but things like numbers, events, sequences happen to me almost to the point where it's like I start laughing.
yes, I've done that as well. Yep, absolutely.
When things are synchronized, like you've been thinking about someone and they call, or I've had people like I've thought of and they walk through the window of the cafe that I'm at, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Can I ask? Do you reckon? Because we kind of spoken about this before. Like, is that something that you were kind of aware of before our trip to LA, or do you reckon?
I was aware of it. Yeah,
you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Like, LA amplified it in some way, or made it more sort of.
I think the sequence of events that unfolded when we were there reignited my awareness of synchronicity. Whether we thought that was happening or not, it was still a real positive, and like things just lined up. Things were happening without our control. That we got to see Joe Rogan, we got to see Bert, like the
Avril
whole
Lavigne?
Avril Lavigne. But things like it was almost effortless. Like when it's like you're a fish and you've hit that stream and you're just going and there's nothing stopping you. You can't even slow it down.
Yeah.
Like that sort of feeling. But I think it was just possibly because we all were vibrating high and we all were in high spirits. Maybe that's the combined energy of everyone.
High and spirits.
Literally high. Literally high the whole time.
Those free pour fucking whiskeys.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. Like I say, when I was younger, way before I met you, like any of this sort of energy, synchronicity type stuff was just fucking heebie-jeebie, mumble-jumble type crap. I was never raised with any of that.
Yeah.
But now, like, I mean, I'm not saying that I read religious stuff, but I definitely sort of take notice and see stuff and sort of just try to, analyze, it's an interesting verse in a Bible or whatever. I don't follow it. But there's, like, nowadays, I'm starting to sort of just see or just have a bit more understanding, a bit more awareness that there's the possibility that there's something greater going on.
Yeah. Maybe it comes with age as well. You're more open. I don't know. Some people go the other way. They close off the older they get, and they just focus on one thing. But I think it's the best time in the world to be making content. I think so. Coming full circle, what I really wanted to say is I'm ready to kick it up a notch. Like this is like tonight felt really good. Yeah, you can feel when there's
because we had a discussion.
Oh, we did.
We communicated.
Yeah, well, I did. Yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, like during the build up this week, we sort of actually had like a proper kind of dialogue to sort of a bit of understanding.
Yeah, a bit more transparency, I think. I think when this goes for everything, even in bands. Like when the communication feels safe and comfortable, that's when you can get shit done. It's when you feel like you're holding shit back or maybe hiding how you really feel. That's when it, over a long time, it really starts to eat away at you. When you're in something that you know is probably you're not happy in. But yeah, I feel like that it's good. Ready to kind of kick it up a notch. Ready to. I feel like I've been in a bit of a sleepwalking for like 2 years. So. But
yeah, well, everyone's creating content this year.
Yeah,
content creating is essentially it's become the new income. Like so many people have, with all these lockdowns and bits and pieces, content creating has become a new income avenue.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, digital stuff. People just doing stuff because they have the time now. Yeah,
I'm still working on my OnlyFans set. Well, it's a funny thing now because a lot of people talk about OnlyFans, and yes, I will admit I was when the whole OnlyFans thing kicked off, I was under the impression that it was just like a sex nudity, sex worker type thing, like my cams, my OnlyFans, like because it started with the whole girls taking photos and selling photos and stuff. That's what OnlyFans started with. I'm under that impression. But obviously it's opened up to a lot more, and it's no longer just that. It's kind of like a Patreon service.
Yeah.
But it's got that idea. It's known for being a very sex worker environment.
Yeah, well, adult content, yeah. Yeah.
Ooh. What's your terminology?
Why?
Well, I got into another argument with someone else about the word sex worker.
Okay.
Right? Now, this is me, because I'm fucking old. I'm old, right? I'm old school. When I hear sex worker, you're working for sex. Sex worker sounds like a prostitute, right?
Yeah.
Like someone that you pay a girl for a blowjob, that's sex work. Whereas a girl that dances at a bar, a girl that takes off her clothes and takes nice photos and stuff, isn't that more adult entertainment. It's more entertainment. It's providing. It's not sex. The whole sex worker word, the generalization. I understand it. I've got nothing against it. Just in my old brain, when you hear the word sex worker,
I've never heard that in a while. Though.
What?
The sex worker.
Oh, that's what everyone calls them.
Really?
Yes, it's sex worker.
The only time I've heard that is when it's to do with prostitution.
No.
Okay.
A girl that
behind.
dances at the strip clubs. Shout out Voodoo Lounge, Guitar Strap Co. They're sex workers.
Okay.
A girl that takes off her clothes on OnlyFans is a sex worker. Sex worker has become this general term.
Right. Okay.
And I got into an argument with a girl over this. Not an argument, or a discussion. Just to me, it sounds kind of derogatory to say, "Oh, you're a sex worker." Like, okay, but you're not.
It takes the artistic merit out of it, right?
Yes, that's a good thing.
Like it makes it look just all about the sex,
Yeah,
and not about the artistic integrity. But yeah,
adult entertainment. It sounds much better.
Well, there's like burlesque, and there's like
but apparently that's all of that stuff is generalized under the term sex worker.
Oh, okay. Well, I must be out of the loop as well. Holy shit, I did not know that. Okay,
yeah,
right.
That's why it bugs me. Like, I mean, total respect for sex workers, but just get the better naming. It's like conspiracy theory. Like, we're all fucking conspiracy theorists. We're not all giving fucking blowjobs for money. Like,
yeah, I know. It's like you said, derogatory. It's kind of like
well, in my mind, to them, like, I don't know. Like, we should get some sex workers on the podcast and talk to them about. No, serious.
Right.
You think I'm joking?
No. I also quickly want to make a correction to something I said on the last podcast, which was with Brian Garra. We were talking about the whole paranormal thing, and I think we were talking about The Ring and how for Brian that was the most traumatizing movie he's seen. I then asked him whether it was the American or the Japanese version he was referring to. He said the American, and I think I said Sarah Michelle Gellar, but that's not who it was. It was Naomi Watts.
Yeah, no. Sarah Michelle Gellar, that was a different movie.
That was a movie called Dark Water.
No.
Yes.
No.
Sarah Michelle Gellar was in the remake of Dark Waters, the Japanese film. I'm pretty sure. Oh my God, have I got it wrong again? No,
it's. It wasn't the one, because I remember the elevator scene. The elevator scene scared the fuck out of me.
And that's in The Ring with Naomi Watts, right?
Is that The Ring? The Ring's not the one with the girl climbing out of the well.
The Ring's the one with the girl coming out of the TV and the well.
No. There's a different Japanese horror movie.
Oh, The Grudge?
The Grudge. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So that was an original Japanese movie,
right.
And then Sarah Michelle Gellar starred in the remake of The Grudge.
Oh my God!
I'm already having flashbacks of that movie. Fuck.
No, but No, I'm just, I feel like an idiot because I went to correct myself only to make another mistake. But okay, The Grudge. Sorry, guys. The Grudge. That was the movie that I was referring to that I thought Sarah Michelle Gellar was in. But
does it matter? They're both scary as fuck.
They're both really, really scary. The Grudge is with the little boy with the white face. Yes, that's The Grudge, and the cat sounds and stuff. But which is the one? Dark Water had an American remake as well. And Dark Waters, as we know, we've done a 3-part episode on Elisa Lam that was very... a lot of the circumstances around her death
resembled
a lot of the themes around Dark Water.
What if it was actually planned that way?
Possibly.
What if it was a murder, and just to make... Because it's fucking Hollywood, it's LA, let's make a murder look like a movie. Dark Water. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit can happen.
Yeah, there's a water tank here.
If you wanted to, fuck with people's brains, just fuck with people, do something like that.
Just like the Zodiac killer or these serial killers, how they would always have a theme or a motif. Yeah, maybe. But that was a correction.
What if she staged her own death?
Well, I don't know, man.
Well,
there's too many things. Too many things. Yeah, that case will forever be a bit of a mystery.
modern day mystery. I was it's not drama, but I didn't realize that event, Elisa Lam had died only 2 months. 2 months before you and I went to Los Angeles.
Wow.
I did not notice. I did not know that. Well, I probably did. I just completely forgot about it. So we were in LA walking around just after this whole Elisa Lam.
Not around Skid Row, though.
We didn't go
No.
Skid Row.
That's the scummy part, yeah. But
And now there's trucks driving through the front of buildings on Melrose Ave, and
there's all sorts of stuff happening.
fuck, that place is going nuts.
Well, there's people just driving into to shops and stuff in their cars, but I
respect to the US, but get your shit together.
I know I think
I want to go back.
They're going through some shit at the moment, but it's been very
Well, everyone is.
Everyone is in their own way. Yeah, it's been very eye-opening though, seeing the whole world in a weird sense, kind of uniting and starting to wake up a bit to these to things. I think there's a lot of mobilizing around the world that we're not being shown.
Yeah, except in Australia.
Except here,
we're just cool. We're just chilling out, getting locked down, getting arrested for Facebook posts. Which, do we want to have a quick thing on that? Because I'm on the fence again, being a critical fence sitter.
Same here. I'm also very emotionally when I read the story about Zoe Lee, or isn't her real name Zoe Bueller or something like that now? I can't remember, but let's just say Zoe, the supposed pregnant lady that was arrested in her home due to a Facebook post in which she was attempting to organize a
peaceful protest
with social
encouraging
distancing,
social distancing and wearing masks.
But it was about the freedom to protest essentially, which I don't know, call me crazy, but I have no issue with that necessarily. But she was arrested in her home a couple of hours before a ultrasound appointment. Later, it was found that she was pregnant. But I mean, whether or not that's an issue,
Well, I mean, I completely disagree with being arrested. I disagree with the police going into the home. I mean, again, we've got a recent one that came out. The guy's on his balcony trying to talk to the police, and the police end up knocking down his front door and throwing him to the ground and throwing him around because he organised a Facebook post or something, all this stuff. So I don't agree with the excessive force and the arresting of people and breaking into their homes for a Facebook post. But at the same time, if there are laws in place, they've already written these laws that say you cannot go outside. They're on the curfew. They're 8 p.m. curfew in Victoria. They've got these strict laws. They've got strict lockdown, state of emergency laws. And people organising protests is breaking the law, right? So they have done something wrong. But I do not agree with the excessiveness of how they're going about it. First and secondly, or was that first? Did I even make a point? I don't even know if I made a point.
That was a point.
But first of all, people should be questioning why, like, these laws, are they necessary? All right. Secondly, it's made it plainly obvious that authorities are monitoring Facebook posts. Like, we've known that. We've known this for that long. Like we just talked about, accountability on social media. We get tracked, we get followed, we get monitored through our social media, through our phones. The police can watch all of our moves. So don't be fucking dumb and organize a fucking Facebook event group against the law that has already been put in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First of all, you should be arguing the law. Argue the law, and you can do that from the safety of your own home.
Mm.
You don't have to go out on the streets for that shit.
That's why I'm kind of... Sometimes I'm a little bit on the fence about, protesting and it's as to whether it's actually going to change anything as well. So I feel like you're right. If you really wanted to make a change or change people's minds, maybe putting out content or setting an example somehow, or raising awareness somehow within the Lord.
Yeah. But I just worked out the problem with that. Is that's not going to work because they censor all your information on Facebook and take all your posts down anyway. So you're fucked.
Yeah.
Welcome to Australia's police state. I'm not kidding. Like this,
it pretty much is. Yeah,
we are living in fucking a brave new world.
Yeah, I think.
And
that, yeah.
Another thing that I want to point, and I want to make this last because I really need to pee.
Yeah.
When this terminology of new normal is thrown around, I hate the fucking word new normal. Can we just change the word normal to world? Because if we say, no, everyone says, we want to go back to our new normal. We want to go back to this. You're not going back. If this is a new fucking normal, it's not the same. It's not normal.
Yeah.
It's new. It's a new fucking world order. But it's not the same. And I hate when say, the new normal. And everyone talk about the new normal. It is not normal. It's new. This is the new world we are living in.
There's nothing normal about it. Yeah.
with these social distancing stickers on every fucking corner, on every fucking window. These cameras everywhere. The cops watching Facebook. It's not fucking normal. It's not the new normal. It is the new world. So fucking please just wake up. Water.
Play us off with some tunes.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Play.
Good thing. Hey guys, thanks for listening.
Thank you guys.
Again, you can check us out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all
that good
podcast
stuff.
platforms.
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
All that good stuff.
Mission Control Podcast. Just search it everywhere. Don't Google it because we probably won't end up on the first page.
And we need to get a website as well.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Thanks, guys.
Woo.